My name is Ronnie Gelfont. I am the owner of 21st Century Public Adjusters. We're located in Newtown, Pennsylvania. I got into public adjusting by accident through one of my other companies having a little bit of a slower spell during the COVID days. I was helping somebody and got into this, realized all the things that weren't being done correctly, and went out on my own. It's been interesting getting the business going because everybody locally keeps continuously referring me out. Somehow from Google, people find me that way, and I get jobs all over New Jersey. I get jobs all over Philadelphia. And through relationships, through the business, I make a lot of relationships with plumbers. I have one electrician, but probably 4 or 5 different emergency services type companies that do mold and water remediation, fire remediation. And because of their experiences in dealing with these types of claims, they seem to refer a lot of business to me because they do run into stuff more often because people are dealing with things in a disaster way or disaster scenario where no one thinks about anything. And then once the thought process of spending money comes into play, they start understanding insurance and we don't understand our insurance, and that's when I step in. And that's why I like doing what I do, because it gives you an opportunity to speak about what you know. I'm licensed for this business in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, North Carolina, only because I have family in those areas, but mainly Jersey and PA. Public adjusting, honestly, is like advocating for a property owner. I, by no means, am anything more than a licensed individual that understands insurance. In this world, if you don't understand insurance, then you really don't have a good leg to stand on. Most people will call in a claim for the idea that they want the insurance company to fix the problem. And that's kind of where insurance doesn't do that. Insurance fixes damage. And that's what I get to explain to people. So the opportunity to explain policy, a lot of questions that people ask me, I always try to say the same thing. The easiest thing for me to do is to sit down with you, look at your policy. I don't sell insurance, but I can at least review what you have, explain how it will work with what you're asking, and then what are things I would feel you could benefit from or maybe get rid of that's not necessary. And that's what I enjoy most, because when you start using language and understanding of how to use the policy the right way, then you realize all the benefits that come with it, rather than shooting yourself in the foot, which happens a lot, where people just call in and not realize what they're calling for. That's the biggest problem, I think, and why I like what I do. Most people do not know public adjusters exist. Most people find me after the fact. About 9% of all claims have a public adjuster involved. Of all claims, maybe only 63% of them get put in, because most people don't call it in. They're worried that their policy will be dropped. They're worried their rates will go up. They're worried that something terrible is going to happen by putting it in and won't get insurance again. So for these reasons, people don't call insurance claims in. And then you have the opposite side. We have a small few that call as if it's a maintenance program. And it's not maintenance. It's just damage itself. It is interesting how you use insurance and what you're supposed to get out of insurance. The insurance is there for you. It just has to be worked properly, and it will work. If you work it the wrong way, it works against you, because a lot of people ask for things that they shouldn't be asking for. They just don't understand what they're trying to achieve or what they have. So that's one of the other things that goes on when you deal with a claim, knowing what you're allowed to ask for and what you're not allowed to ask for, and when. How do public adjusters get paid within the process of a claim? In Pennsylvania, in New Jersey, there's standard contracts. Nobody can have a different contract. It's actually a separate contract than what the insurance company sees. So as an example, for me and anyone else in PA, you have a 3-page Pennsylvania agreement designed by Pennsylvania. You can only use this agreement to uniformly go forward. How your percentages work is really dictated by the type of claim, where the claim is, and what the situation is. I have honestly worked on claims as small as 5%, and I've worked on claims as high as 50%. On the high end of the spectrum, you've already had a claim, you've been paid, you're not getting any more money, you need expert advice. I'm stepping in, and I'm going to advocate and get you more money that was left on the table that you're not able to get on your own because you didn't have the right information to do so. On the lower side, you're dealing with a $4, $5, $600,000 claim, multi-million-dollar claim. Yeah, it's at 5%, it's at 10%. Most of the time, I'm probably about 20, 25% with most of the stuff that I do. And I do such a good job that I've never had anybody ever complain. The way they actually get paid is through the contract. Whenever a check is received from the insurance carrier in relation to the work being done, that check is then divided under the percentage that was agreed to. So only paid by money received. The insurance carrier doesn't have any idea what I'm getting paid. That's why my advocating works so well being licensed, because if you're a contractor, they just know that you're there to make money. They don't know what my relationship is, where my avocation starts and ends and where it ties in. It's all tied to me being able to deliver proper information and channel it the right way to make sure that we receive the maximum amount for what should be paid properly from the insurance carrier, not the minimum amount, which is what is done usually when you don't have proper representation. How do you find a public adjuster in your local area? For me, people Google me. When I ask people how they find me, if they don't find me from somebody that I know, they're saying, I went on Google, I saw your reviews, I called you. How did you know to call a public adjuster? My sister had a problem. She didn't get paid properly. She said, do not call the insurance company without calling the public adjuster first. This is really what goes on. People don't know what I do because they just assume I do it on my own. The theory behind it is if they pay me, will I have 25% less drywall, 25% less paint, 25% less carpeting? I tell them no. You're going to get, rather than the insurance payout of what I would call nothing 50 or 65%, to me actually getting you that 100%, and that 100% should well cover what you need to do because I see what you need to do. I work for you. And if I don't benefit your situation, then I failed. Every opportunity I can find that's rightfully yours, I will find for you and get for you to make it right for you. People can really only get three types of policies: basic, broad, and special. Basic is what it sounds like. Basic to me is when you're buying a property and you're flipping it because you're not going to be in it long, but you want to be protected from fire, smoke, lightning, vandalism, wind-driven rain through an opening. Those are things that could happen. You don't have coverage for pipes. That would be under broad. Broad covers pipes. Pipes would be any pipe in your home. And that's one of the biggest things people don't understand, why an HO2 is what it is to an HO1. An HO3, which we call special, includes everything we just spoke about, and then the craziest things that happen: accidents. You forgot to do something. I forgot to do this. Well, that means I left my window open. So people assume they have what they see on TV. Probably one of the biggest things that we all do is watch TV and we see commercials, and these commercials show mayhem. I love that commercial where he's showing crazy things, but those are all special HO3 type policies, DP3 with a commercial type policy. You have to understand the policies, and then is those policies really covering everything you need to cover? I mean, there are so many endorsements, and that's really what all these coverages are endorsements within an HO1 basic, endorsements within a HO2 broad, and then you have your HO3 special, which again, more and more robust products of perils are in there, but they're not giving you the proper peril endorsements. Things like your front property, service lines. Most people call us for that. They don't have coverage for it. You can add that onto any policy. City county ordinance, another giant one. I always tell people that if you don't have it, it's probably not costing that much money, but have it, because in every city and county, if your home is 20, 30 years old, they're coming up with new ideas, new things to do construction. If you don't have the construction, they don't owe you for it. But if you have this type of peril or add-on endorsement, you're able to get those things paid for the proper way without going out of pocket. You have things like replacement cost value or actual cost value. And this is why I try to sit with people to review the policy so they understand. Most of the time what they tell me is the guy that sold this to them, they don't even know him anymore. Or they've had the same policy for 20, 30 years. No one's asked them if they had a finished basement. Most basements aren't covered under any policy. So if you don't have like endorsements that say I got sump pump backup coverage, and that coverage is maybe 10% of the value of my home, so you have proper coverage, then you have coverage. will determine what type of coverage you have. Do you have a basic? Do you have a broad? Do you have special coverage? I'm going to try to do my best to help out with good answers. What goes into the cost of the premiums that you pay for insurance? Obviously, underwriting, I don't understand underwriting. It's a whole other thing. But where there's elements of what do matter with your policy is, my recommendation for people is $1,500 to $2,500 is an appropriate deductible. Okay. Other people in my business will tell you 500, 1,000. Sure, it benefits somebody else. It's not benefiting you. You want the insurance company to think that every time the toilet overflows, you're not calling them. You're calling them because water's coming down through my ceiling. I don't know what to do. I'm out of towels. I'm out of buckets. That's when you call insurance. That's when you call me to try to help rectify that problem. So most people have issues not realizing that insurance doesn't work the way you think it works. Half of what they're doing when you call them is trying to break down what is going on, and you don't even know what's going on. My biggest advice is get a professional there, get a plumber, get a contractor, get a mediation guy there, because they all have a license. My license tells you how to maneuver through the process of insurance. Let me handle everything, and it keeps you in a position where I allow everything to work in your favor because I understand what your policy does and doesn't cover and how it should work and when. Most people, when you don't do it the right way, find it's not working, and you really just went out of sequence. So what should have been done the right way up front. Anytime you buy anything, anytime someone tells me you have a collection, you should have it insured. You have a watch, you have 2 watches. Okay, you got 7, 8 watches. They're nice watches, get them insured. You buy your wife a ring for her wedding, probably should be insured. And these are just things in general. You can have 9 sofas and couches. All of them would be replaced. Wouldn't matter if you shopped at Macy's or if you shopped, at Kmart, they will pay for whatever it is in your home without a question, unless you start saying everything as a designer, they'll want to see receipts and things like that to prove it. In a general sense, you should take a picture of every room. There's so much in our rooms. It's the detail that you're going to miss. And that's part of just trying to understand. You really need to have some documentation submitted into the insurance. Jewelry is jewelry, but you only have $2,000 in jewelry. One necklace can put you at that limit. That means everything else, if you don't document and let them know you have it or ask for additional insurance. If you don't get additional insurance, you don't have it. Like for me, I buy jewelry. So all my wife's jewelry is insured. She gets an update every year. If we were in an area where you bought fur coats, I would have all my fur coats insured. Your silverware. Some people have like silverware and stuff still. That's not my thing. I've seen other people have it. I would have that insured. So you start seeing that you have collectible items, you need to insure those items. Because if you don't insure them, then they're just considered like a regular picture, a regular item. So as soon as it has value, your baseball collection, any collection, if you feel there's value to it, you'd be surprised. You can pay $75, $100, pay someone a few $100s. They come to your home, they can write up a whole bunch of stuff for you, and you submit that to your insurance carrier. Your insurance carrier will then document that, and that'll go on your schedule, and you have it documented. So any of those items don't have to be pictured that you've already disclosed you had them with the insurance company. Will your premium go up once you use insurance? What I try to tell them is you have a discount in your policy right now. So if you're paying $1,810, you have probably a $180 discount or $190 discount that got you to that $1,800. That discount will go away for 2 years. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, that's where you lose. You're not going to be dropped. When people say, well, my insurance went up, insurance goes up automatically. Insurance websites have to at least announce that they're raising rates in an area. So they go there and they automatically raising. It's nothing to do with you having a claim or not. The only thing in the claim that matters is that discount. If you already lost a discount, they drop you on the second one? Usually not. I've seen people have 4 or 5 claims. I've seen people that had 1 claim in 40 years. There's no variation. Can you open up a claim for a claim that's already been closed where maybe there's a problem with the repair that was done? Insurance pays for the damages. Now, what you're saying is we gave you the money for the damages. You made a bad choice in who you wanted to do the work. And because the workmanship is not to your satisfaction, are we able to give you a workmanship, replacement? No. You understand? Because the damage could have been the water damage. Right now, you're not happy with your drywall, you're not happy with whatever it might be. That's a different scenario where you now have a liability problem with your contractor and you need to utilize a different type of service in the legal capacity to work that over. But if there's a scenario where you have a claim and you fix the claim, and then all of a sudden 4 months later, it happens again, it's okay. Just show that you fixed everything. They just want to know that the money they gave you was used to fix the problem. They're also going to look to try to see, can we do anything different so we don't have the same problem happen again? Toilet overflowing, got kids, could happen 2 or 3 times until they get old enough. You know what I mean? It may happen. A fire doesn't usually happen for anybody, and it's not going to happen for most people 2 or 3 times. So again, different investigations get involved with these types of things. Once you have a claim, they don't care if they pay you 0, 2,000, 20,000, or 200,000. It's a claim. So when they say, hey, you had 3 claims, and you go, well, wait a minute, that wasn't a claim. Well, no, you called it in as a claim. They told you it wasn't a claim, but because you called it in as a claim, they made it a claim for you and gave you a claim number and denied that claim without you realizing it's being denied because you're calling in something that's not even. So you always say, don't call. Know what it is that you're asking for. I have smoke damage. Can someone come out? I have I have water damage. They're going to ask 15 questions behind that. And it's weird when people don't answer those questions. Most of the time, the person on the phone is not licensed. I honestly help a lot of people that have claims get paid on their claims and are just not happy when a contractor comes and tells them it's twice as much money and they don't understand. Then they say, well, do you have a public adjuster? Then that's how they learn about public adjuster. I then step in and I look over the claim. I look at what's being done. I try to, talk to the contractor, understand what are you doing, what was missed, use all that information, and then I go back to the insurance company to say, you did not pay them out enough. Let's reopen where you left off. I validate that through a professional licensed person, the contractor, my understanding of insurance, looking at the holes, the Swiss cheese that they gave me and trying to make it smooth. That's how you get them to pay. They're never paying people properly. It's a shame. It really is. People can find me in my office in Newtown, Pennsylvania. I am usually throughout the area driving around. You can contact me by my phone number, 215-485-3107. Email 21stclaims for 21stclaims@gmail.com. Website, www.21stcenturypublicadjusters.com. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like what you heard with insurance claims. Thank you.